that tell you that Peter Penn is telling you in his commentary that it means rape. Now furthermore, if you look at the book of Deuteronomy, chapter number 21, verses number 10 to 11, it says also in the book of Deuteronomy that you're allowed to take them home and rape them. Who? The women. It says that way in the Quran? No, it says that where? Where? Say it louder, please, brothers. The Bible. It says it in the Bible. It says that you're allowed to rape not only children. Yes, you're allowed to rape a child, but you can rape a woman. Now, Jesus Christ said in the book of Matthew, chapter number 5, I think verse 17, I have not come to do away with the prophets. I've come to affirm them, the law, fulfill them, affirm them, whatever you want. Meaning, he did not come to abrogate the law of the Old Testament. That's why you'll find evangelicals in America, they don't eat shellfish. They actually abstain from the biblical injunctions that in the Old Testament. This is the correct understanding of the Bible and the biblical discourse. These maybe come from a different school of thought, so they don't actually take the Bible literally. But there are Christians, I know them, that live in, doesn't matter. There are Christians, I know them, that live in Nigeria, that do take the Old Testament seriously. They don't want to take it seriously. All they're going to say is, look, the Old Testament is not what Jesus said, but it's what he affirmed and fulfilled. It doesn't mean that just because it's the Old Testament you don't take it as religion. That's not fair, it's unfair. So you are throwing stones again, and you live in a massive glass house, and you want us all to believe in your Bible on the premise that in the Quran, yes, it's violent, it includes prisoners of war. Your Bible allows it. Go ahead.
You know, brother, that's why these people are not Christian. These are not Christian. They are destroying Christianity.
Can you let me speak, please?
You are destroying Christianity. I can speak.
I didn't hear what you said.
The Sirat Rasulullah, something.
Sirah.
The biography.
The Sirah, okay.
It's also in the Hadith, it's also in the Tafsir. Very quick to brush that under the carpet. And I think you really need to understand what's there. Okay, here's, for example, this is from Bukhari. Okay, so the Prophet said, this is about Safiya, the story of Safiya and the siege of Khyber. Go and take any slave girl. He took Safiya bint Huwai. A man came to the Prophet and said, oh Allah's apostle, you gave Safiya bint Huwai to Dia, and she is the chief mistress of the tribes of Qurayza and An-Nadir, and she befits none but you. So the Prophet said, bring him along with her. So Dia came with her, and when the Prophet saw her, he said to Dia, take any slave girl other than her from the captives. Anas added, the Prophet then manumitted her and married her. Okay, Tibit asked Anas, oh Abu Hamza, what did the Prophet pay her as ma? He said herself was her ma, but he manumitted her and then married her. So basically he's saying she doesn't even have a dowry, just herself will do. I'm just going to take her. Okay, that's a pretty unpleasant story. Okay, and this is not, you know, we can argue all the time about the Mosaic law and how we don't follow the Mosaic law because Jesus fulfilled it in the sense he fulfilled it in his own body, because the price for sin in the Old Testament was blood. And how does Jesus fulfill the law? By shedding his own blood for the payment of sin. And not only that, but he gives us a new law that gets to the spirit of what the old law was about. So rather than having all these laws about, okay, do not commit adultery, he says, you know, to men, interestingly, and your Quran doesn't have many instructions for men. You know, it says, you know, if you look at a woman lustfully, then you can pluck out your eye. But you guys, you know, for some reason, if you look at women lustfully, the women have to cover themselves up. There's no kind of, you know, there's no kind of sense that you've got to exercise any self-control, right?
Oh my God. She went there. She went there.
Sahih Bukhari.
Oh my God. She actually said women have to cover themselves.
So that was Bukhari, if you want to look this up. Bukhari volume 1, book 8, number 367.
Your time is up, so can I speak? What I was going to say to you, fine. No. Let's
Take 5 minutes, I'll let you speak again.
No. What it says in what is clear in our religion, you have to understand, in the context that we live in now, okay, where there is no such thing as war going on, we're not in the medieval period, we have nothing around us where, you know, where we're seeing that literally, unless if you literally go to the Middle East. The idea of what you call malakat aymanukum, or the hands I have possesses, is not applicable. What? No, please, can I? Islam, I just want to say clearly, Islam came to, you could say very clearly that Islam, the intention of the Islamic Sharia was to do away with the system of slavery that existed at the time. How do we know that? We know that because in the Quran, in too many verses, it's telling us that you ought to give slaves away. It's telling us that if you do bad things and sins and this and that, you have to give a slave away. But the question is, why did Islam, the first question, did Islam abolish slavery in a way which was complete, in a way which is like, you know, one go? It didn't do that. And that is what is, in today's world, controversial about the Islamic script. My point is as follows. Islam is a religion that's based on realism. Clifford Geertz is a sociologist / anthropologist, and he said when you study a society, you ought to look at the thick description of that society. I believe that in the context of the medieval societies, the Islamic system was the best method for doing away with slavery. The only way someone could become a prisoner of war in Islam was through war, and men and women would become prisoners of war. Now, this, what she said before, which I've repeated before, but I just thought I'd give you a preamble here, is that the Prophet forcibly married someone. Now, I reject that completely. The Prophet never forcibly married any human being, ever. And it's never been mentioned in one single hadith that is the case. Okay, so my time is up, so go ahead.
Right, I think you cannot get away from that hadith, and you cannot get away from the one that I just read to you. Okay, the one I just read to you.
I couldn't hear, honestly.
Okay,
Can you show it to me?
Well, it was on my friend's phone. I can't. Okay, and look at the Sirat Rasulullah, and look at that story of Safiya. Yes, the siege of Khaybar. Okay, it's also in Al-Tabari, that story of Safiya. Just look it up. You know far better than me where to get it from. Okay, you were saying, okay, well, Islam is a contextual religion. I'm not sure that your Quran actually lets you have that view. You know, the Quran says that it's eternal. Muhammad is an example of for all mankind, that he's an exalted standard of character, and that should be as true, if this is the eternal word of God, that should be as true today as it was in the 7th century. You know, so for example, it says here, I think it's Surah 480, he who obeys the messenger has indeed obeyed Allah. Okay, so you should be looking to the stories about Muhammad and thinking, okay, this is God's exalted standard of character, this is something I should follow. Or, if as I do, you look at him and you look at his life, you look at how he treated women, and you think, hang on, I'm not convinced that this man is an exalted standard of character, I'm not convinced that this man is a true prophet. Okay? Yeah, so also in terms of women, in terms of the treatment of women, I just want to give you another example. Can I give you another example? This is Surah 2, 223. Okay, Surah 2, 223. It says here, your wives are a till for you.
Yes.
So go to your till when or how you will. Till is a kind of sexual connotation.
Yes,
it means that basically your wife is a sex object for you. She's sexually available for you, and you can go to have sex with her whenever you like. Can I finish? And if you look at the 4 schools of Sharia law today, okay, not one of those schools is marital rape considered a crime.
What?
It's not considered a crime.
No. Excuse
okay?
me.
Because it's expected that a woman should be sexually available for her husband. This is
you're
also
not allowed
backed
to lie
up.
about religion.
This is.
You're
I'm
not
not
allowed
lying
to lie.
about
Don't lie,
religion,
because
sir.
you don't know about the
I'm not.
schools of thought. But I can tell you.
Okay,
I've read
I
the
can
books.
come back to you and reference.
Okay, no. Please. No. You're not allowed to.
Marriage,
Excuse me.
because it comes back to this verse that your wife should be sexually available to you. It even says in that. Can I finish? I haven't finished. My time's not up yet. Okay. Also in the hadith, I'm afraid I might have to look my friend up to look it up. But it says even if your wife is cooking in the oven, she should go to you, and you want it. Yeah, if she's doing
ovens at the time of the Prophet.
No, but she's doing she's doing the cooking. You can watch it. If she's doing the cooking, I'm not lying. You need to know you just don't like it.
No.
The problem is you don't like it. I'm not
There's
lying.
no oven at the time of the Prophet.
Okay, the point is.
No, don't say the point is. There's no oven at the time of the Prophet.
The point is
there's
that
no microwave, there's no car.
It doesn't say microwave, okay?
What does it say, oven?
But it says if she's doing the cooking at her stove, whatever the 7th century equivalent is, then even if she's doing that, she's making your dinner,
give it to me.
She should be sexually available to you.
Okay, let me answer. That's
now,
a lie. You're a liar. That's a lie. That's basically a lie. Okay, excuse me. No, it's not. It's not true. Do you mind if I answer? Please don't lie. Time's up. Excuse me. Now you're not giving me equal rights. You're not giving me equal rights. That's sexism, honestly. No, excuse me. Let me just say to you one thing, yeah? نساؤكم حرث لكم فأتوا حرثكم أن شئتم. That your wives are a tilth for you, so approach your tilth whatever you want. Does the Quran say that? Yes, it does say that. Oh, wait a minute. What are you trying to say? Yes, the Quran says that you can approach your wives whenever you want. Meaning, there's never a time. Excuse me. Okay, hold on. There's never a time where you cannot approach your wives except for al-hayd, because it says يسألونك عن الحيض قل هو أذى. They ask you about menstruation. When a woman is menstruating, say that it's painful for women, so you don't. فاعتزلوا النساء. في المحيط. So go and don't have sexual intercourse with women at that time. The same chapter you just mentioned, saying that نساءكم حرث لكم, your wives are tilth for you, is where it says هن لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن. It says that, no, sorry, I'll say in Arabic and English. It says that they are a garment for you and you are a garment for them. Meaning, women are a garment for men and men are a garment for women. Meaning, according to Islamic law, if a woman wants to have sex with a man, if a wife wants to have sex with a husband, she says, excuse me, I don't know the number, to be honest. They're a garment for you, you're a garment for them. That verse, it says, if a woman wants to have sex with her husband, and he says, no, not today. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? The next day, she comes to him and says, look, he says, no, not today. That is not allowed in Islam. She can get a divorce so easily because she's not giving her rights. So it goes both ways, and that's what you don't understand, and that's unfortunate. Now, going to what you said before, what you said afterwards. Okay, let me tell you why it doesn't say that. Let me say this is a good question, because you know, one of the feminist critiques of the Quran is that they say that, you know, why is it the case that it's always referring to men? You know, why is it always, first of all, that's consistent in the Old Testament, the New Testament and the Quran. Your wives, your wives, your wives. It says that in the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Quran. So you can't throw stones if you live in a glass house, number one. Number two, there's a reason for it from a linguistic perspective. When the man is being referred to, as we said before, in the Arabic pronouns, muttasil or munfasil, that refers to men and women. Whereas when the woman is being referred to in Arabic, that only can refer to a woman. Do you see what I mean?
In other words, mankind.
Yes, so whenever it talks to men, then it refers to men and women. When it refers to women only, that's what it refers to women. If it refers to men only, it has to make it clear. It has to make it clear. How do we know that? Okay, I'll give you an evidence right now. In chapter number 33 of the Quran, yes, I think verse 9 or 10, it says, مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ رِجَالٍ. From the believers are men. But why does it say mu'minina and not the woman version? Min al-mu'minati. Why doesn't it say min al-mu'minati rijal? Because mu'minina, the masculine version, includes men and women. So it had to make it clear that men are part of that. So, in other words,